And this is it. Welcome to the final part of episode intermission on the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for PS5.
Yes.
The Chronicles of a Materia Hunting Gremlin.
So...
It's okay, guys. It's okay, boss. Yeah. We got this.
Excuse me for a second. I need to find in my diary. Day 3. I still haven't found the goddamn materia yet.
Yuffie, this is
Actually,
your diary.
Actually, you found quite plenty.
Yuffie, this
Not
is
the
your.
one I want.
Yuffie, this is your diary speaking. When are you going to lose the dead weight that's totally not slated to die at the end of this?
Jesus.
Don't worry. I'm gonna toss you away soon.
So anyway, yeah. As of the time of this recording, I'm wondering if products that we thought were going to be one thing but turned out to be something different based off of the marketing are going to become a trend because you probably have heard of it. There is something that puts the VII Remake and Higurashi Go to shame with misleading marketing.
How would you compare the new Masters of the Universe cartoon?
I love how you knew exactly what I was talking about.
Jova, okay, the audience doesn't know, but you've been pretty much on a rant spree on the SSMB yesterday. It was pretty visible.
All right.
Actually, that was literally only one status update I made. There just happened to be a lot of people who replied to it and had a lot to say on the matter.
Also, you have less than 2 minutes to tell before the actual important story stuff happens. So
okay. For context sake, audience, you know that new He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelation show? He-Man dies at the start of it, comes back as Adam, dies again at the end. Mind you, this was after the maker behind it, Kevin Smith, swore up and down that show would be about He-Man. You know, it's called He-Man. Nope, it's about Tila.
Actually, Jova, He-Man isn't in... Okay, well, two things, Jova. One, He-Man isn't in the title, and two, it's only part 1 that we've gotten so far.
Well, technically, He-Man Masters of the Universe was in the title, actually.
Yeah,
no, not this version, mostly because of legal reasons. I forgot if it's like the Mattel, the company, is not legally allowed to use the full title anymore.
Now, for contrast, same or sort of same franchise, people seem to... Well, okay, there were still reasons people hated on the She-Ra reboots. Most of them are kind of silly.
Again,
but if there is one thing people can agree on, is that the people behind that show were at least honest from the start that it was a reboot.
That, and, okay, regardless of the whole He-Man thing, they did swear that He-Man was going to be the main star of the show. He wasn't. Okay, if you wanted it to focus on the cast of Masters of the Universe as a whole, that's fine, but the fact that they felt that they needed to blatantly lie about He-Man's role in it just paints things in a bad way. And mind you, the show itself just was not very good or interesting. The characters are... Stop, you heard this before. Sad, old, deconstructed upon, and all that. And, oh god, it just doesn't...
Alright, here we go.
But, back to this.
I know how much,
You do. Oh, hey, Doomarine got converted into a mech.
Actually, no, it's something more akin... Well, first of all...
Wow, that is a ballsy move, just walking up there when Yuffie could easily hit you with her boomerang!
We both know you're afraid of us.
4-point shuriken.
Yuffie, why not, sniper?
Maybe I am. You should know there's more where we
can
can
go.
go.
There's a boomerang
Lots
too,
more.
so...
And you'll never
True,
see
but I
coming.
forgot which one has equipped right now.
Seriously, Yuffie, hit her!
Oh my! We must do something right away.
I don't know, Scarlet is just entertaining Malu Yuffie just because she's so clueless. So, apparently someone really listened to my desire to want more Scarlet, because now we're actually having not just a boss fight against her, but in an actual Magitech armor. They brought something that wasn't really in the original FF7, but it's a staple of the franchise. That's pretty neat.
I think we should explain to the audience what's different about Magitech armor from something like the Highlander.
Well, it's pretty easy. As you can see from the design, it's like it's a bipedal walker made first introduced and made popular in Final Fantasy VI, mostly used pretty at the beginning, you know, from the protagonist hair. It's even in the Yoshitaka Mao logo of the game. But ever since, so later games they started incorporating more as a sort of an Easter egg, you know, something like in Final Fantasy 14 you can get a mount that's like that, for example, you know. And there is one, and it's also using the actual orchestral remix of Those Who Fight Further, the one that I like the most. That's pretty cute.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, Tio's probably enjoying this because they're using the Arsenal's boss theme. And I'll admit, having listened to the soundtrack, yeah, Arsenal's take on Those Who Fight Further has really grown on me. I'm not.
Not just that. Like you said in the game, Jova, I'm just amazed that the entire orchestra managed to keep the pace because these scores go super fast. I can't imagine the stress for the poor violinists.
Especially when they go into the second phase of the theme,
like
where
some of that you can
more.
clearly tell that due to them being dynamic, sure, are still divided in segments. They don't like do the entire thing in one go. But some of these are still relatively lengthy and have to be fast paced.
Oh, you cheater!
I mean, she's Scarlet, why not?
She's the bad guy. Of course she's doing it.
But I gotta say, she's still gutsy considering how she is fighting without a canopy to cover her. Like, again, I mean, Yuffie could technically behead her if she aimed just right.
It suffers from you know, Dr. Robotnik case that we noted, for example, in the Sonic movie, where she just leaves the cockpit open for no reason.
Although give Robotnik credit, he did eventually close it. She is fighting open the entire time.
That's one regular, like, weak spot of any Magitech armor. They always have, like, no actual cockpit cover, leaving, you know, the rider always right in the open.
That said, though, yeah, I do appreciate getting to fight more Scarlet. Heck, seeing more of the big studio heads, the big business heads of Shinra anyway, and encountering them, which really makes me wonder, how is the fight with Homer going to go?
I don't even know, Joe, to be honest.
Mind you, that is a comedic fight where he manages to maintain damage, probably due to his own bad, and then
he misses a Raiders of the Lost Ark reference only to get hit by a truck, and he still survives that.
Like, I am really looking forward to see how they're going to bring that into this remake. But yeah, seriously though, I mean, like, this phase of the theme is where the music really speeds up, and like, kudos to the orchestra. As someone who's a musician myself, it's not as easy as it looks, or should I say, sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Dwibs?
Yeah, basically, have good electricity powers on your side, and you should be alright. Yuffie, again, she's the bad guy. You ever heard of bad guys playing fair?
Yeah, and Scarlet regularly switches what kind of weapons the armor will use, so you always have to keep in check. But
oh,
Jesus Christ!
Jesus!
What Monster Hunter game did you got that from?
All of them.
So,
basically, will deal with it.
Basically, this whole campaign might as well be summarized as Ranmu is your best friend, given all the machines.
Mm-hmm. That's because it's only the one major summon Yuffie can use. Of course, there are still like the pre-order DLC stuff, as we've showcased in the previous part.
There we go.
Oh, what a minor inconvenience. Okay, beat her up.
Not nearly mobile enough. Should have known those actuators were up to the task. Time to...
I can't see the cell. Oh.
This is also some cheeky potential foreshadowing to the eventual creation of the Prod Club.
Tables have turned.
Hi.
Okay.
Proud of yourself, little savage.
What are you doing?
She literally has a button upper.
She knows what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing.
And here's our foreshadowing from, well, in this case, like, stuff that gets activated beforehand. the Sviet program from deep ground. These guys normally will stay dormant until the events of the Cerberus, but because of this, they have been activated beforehand, which is a problem. And I do mean in-story problem.
This is Nero. He hails from
The Civil.
Dirge of Cerberus.
In this,
Oh, hey,
and there's Vice.
Yeah,
This time with a
I wondered-
jacket.
I was wondering who the hell these guys were.
Basically, we're incorporating the storyline of Dirge of Cerberus into the main game as well.
Okay.
And this is a bit. This is potentially, dangerous for our heroes because the Sviant have a power level that is not really on par with our protagonist right now. Nero specifically, Nero was overpowered even for the standards of the Cerberus. So again, this is kind of a problem if these guys are actually put on the hunt of Cloud and the others, which is what we're hinting towards.
Are the Dementors gonna do anything about this or not?
Well, remember,
We'll have to
Shiroy,
see.
by the end of the VII Remake, the Dementors are apparently dead, so anything can go.
Well,
That's
well,
implying there were not
this
more,
was-
but
But for
It's
sure,
because-
this was before the Section 7 plate dropped.
that is also true.
Not just
But-
that. Well, technically, Nero and Vice being here, being there, doesn't interfere with the events of the main storyline.
No, for the time being, yeah.
So technically, the Dementors don't have to do anything right now.
I should also mention that both of them have different voice actors than the ones in the Cerberus, but for the better. They sound decently enough here.
Well,
They're not the same from the original game, are they?
No. Yeah, I forgot who the specific original were, and I forgot who's the new one for Vice, but Nier in this version is voiced by Sean Chiplock.
Sure. Well, that sounds fine to me.
Yeah.
All right, but make it quick.
I'll be right back.
Yes.
Oh, come on, Shura. What's the worst that can
Of
happen?
creating an exquisite new materia.
Yuffie, next
Wow.
time put also like a tape gag or something.
Wait,
Usually
how-
does the job.
Well, we were trying to get information out of her.
Regrettable though it is, other plans have been deemed a higher priority.
Wouldn't it be just something if Yuffie just literally killed Scarlet right here and
Just
then?
between you and me, my colleagues and I are going to drop plate number 7 on the slums. And then we're going to blame it on Avalanche and Wutai.
Well, thank you for your honesty.
Get it.
Yeah, for once she's actually not lying.
I mean, Yuffie asked.
And we're gonna squelch somebody.
Oh dear, I think your friend might have run into trouble. Aren't you going to save him?
Kill her?
Or at least to, injure her legs. No.
No, I mean, I'm playing this game just do what I do on FIFA.
Kick her, I guess.
What are you waiting for?
Seriously?
Hurry.
Yeah, look, see what I'm trying, but he's not
The
responding.
game won't let him.
Story-wise, Yuffie's worried about Sonon, so she
Well, I
can-
get that, but it's weird that Yuffie, for as violent as she's been, wouldn't at least incapacitate Scarlet. Especially given how Scarlet could probably activate something else left alone that could
Yeah,
really
Jabba.
come back to bite them in the rear.
Remember, Jabba, if she does, the Dementors might come in. So
Again, like, the Dementors were inconsistent with their job anyway, and she doesn't know that.
Oh shit, my friend's in trouble.
Yeah, there you go. The actual deep ground normal moves.
Hate to be the bearer of bad news.
I do wonder.
How you feel swearing?
My she said it's still in the works. And she mentioned something else. They're gonna drop plate number 7.
They're gonna do what?
They're gonna drop plate number 7 on the slums.
Yeah, I heard what you said, just, I meant what I said, I didn't do that.
Wait, so GJ was being serious?
Scarlet probably told her because she thinks she's gonna get away with it, so what's the point in lying?
Well, we've seen it happen, so...
So I do wonder how much this is going to change things with Remake Part 2, because again, I like to look back at Square saying, we're not going to have any big changes, and then they immediately bring out the main bad guys from Dirge of Cerberus.
Here's my theory, Jova. Simply put, we're gonna have the member of the Sviet occasionally stalking around Cloud and the others as occasional boss fights sprinkled in some key points that in the original game didn't really had, like say the Beefrill Mines, for example. you know? Maybe we'll bat with the Turks, who knows.
But then there's the case of Nero and Vice, considering how...
Yeah, that's also the problem, like I mentioned. If it's someone like... the bases Viet, Schelke, Azul and Rosso are technically still powerful, but they're relatively fine. Nero and Vice are overpowered as fuck. Like, you will see it in a second, but Nero is all about opening dark hole and sucking people's souls away.
And Vice is even worse. Which, again, does bring me to this, though. I mean, clearly Nero and Vice are going to get involved, which makes me wonder... So, are we going to, like, inject the plot of Dirge of Cerberus into the original? Just make it be...
Oh, clearly not, Jova. The Sviating Dirge of Cerberus also wanted to execute their own program out of, the lack of, superiors at Shinra and the lack of evil like Sephiroth.
Not to mention...
So they wanted to exterminate people to awaken Omega Weapon, In here, they seem to be more obedient towards Shinra's will, so...
Well, okay, maybe this won't change the overall plot, but given the circumstances involving Nero Vise and, well, you know who wants to use Vise as a way to revive from death. I won't say the name, and assuming you don't want me to spoil who I'm referring to. How are we gonna make this work if they are planning this or whatnot?
Well, that's what we'll have to see.
That said, maybe my theory about them trying to do a redo of the 7 compilation Yuffie is not really the time to rest.
I just battled a bunch of assholes. I need to sit down.
But people are about to die. But anyway, I wonder if my theory on them trying to remake the entire compilation could also maybe tie into stuff, and maybe they're gonna do a remake of Dirge of Cerberus, or...
No, Jova, like I theorized instead, they'll probably just condense, elements and things from the compilation into one single narrative.
Oh, that was pretty much my point.
Question.
And on the subject of people dying, don't worry. Remember, this is an RPG. He won't die until we get there.
Yes, Shiri.
Alright, since titles seem to be piling on, what exactly is part of the 7 lore?
Okay, Shiroi. Let me put it like this.
You gotta be more specific.
Let me put it like this, Shiroi. There's Before Crisis. There's Crisis Core. There's the original 7. There is Advent Children. And Dirge of Cerberus, including some other...
Okay, I only knew about 3 of those being part of 7.
If you want a chronological, in terms of chronology, Before Crisis is the most prequel out of them. Crisis Core takes around the same time at the end of it. Then the original 7. Then the original 7, then Advent Children, then
look at that, Yuffie. But leaving Scarlet alive and perfectly fine allows her to do that.
But now let's have, just for funsies, Scarlet is gonna give us an interesting type of concept. A VR simulator going rogue. Oh boy. Yeah, now you're gonna get to see just how fucked up Nero is.
He's not that good a boss.
Keep in mind, this is not even like having to actually try. This is like a simple flexing of his power.
Yeah, hey, look what I can do. I can suck out your energy and not react to it when I enter.
I will...
Oh, except laughing.
So, I will admit, it's interesting. That said, I do feel like introducing Nero and Vise could have been handled maybe just a bit better. Because, yeah, I'm assuming you were confused, Dwibs.
Yeah,
I'm assuming part 2 will eventually explain who they are.
To answer Jova's question, actually. Yeah, as I said earlier, who the hell are these guys?
Okay, Pedro. I know that they probably will explain it in a later part, but I would argue that this is where part of the flaws come when you segment a thing into parts or whatnot. It can unfortunately make an installment feel incomplete here and there. Like, again, the original 7 worked on a pace where, Yes, we didn't immediately know about Sephiroth, but we knew that we would know in the very installment here and there. Admittedly, a lot of what people have been able to piece together, they've had to use from past knowledge of the 7 compilation as opposed to stuff that's actually explained in the 7 Remake stuff itself as well. Which I would argue is a bit of an issue here and there. Again, now, you want to include Nero and Vice. That's fine. But I would argue that you should at least explain them in their debut, especially since even 7 veterans may have a bit of trouble explaining the dealio with those guys.
I don't know.
Like, a remake is supposed to be welcoming to both fans of the original and new people, and a lot of parts of this remake have not been welcoming to new people at all.
I will only do that for the fun element and thing. When it comes to this particular element, it can just serve as a mystery and cliffhanger for...
Even if you don't know anything, you can just deem it as powerful ground to dispose of Shinra.
From a beginner perspective, this can just serve as a mystery teaser for what's to come.
Essentially, yes, but there's also the question of, will they explain it?
That too, yeah, again, we don't even know how much they're going to explain this as well. And don't get me wrong, for as much as Square like to make ambitious stories, they still don't explain stuff always the best, even in their good products or whatnot.
I will say that I do agree that the last couple of hours of the base game was a bigger issue than what we're seeing here, but still, it's like, I hope they explain any of this in the long run.
Alright, so basically now we've got 2 things to try and destroy now. The tentacle monster, as they call it. Defeating this, as it's known, the diabolic creation, this won't end the boss fight if you destroy it, because it'll just revive thanks to the hologram projector over there.
Yeah, you literally have to dismantle the actual hologram system.
It reminds me of the penis persona.
The key to this boss battle is defeating the right arm first. Because if you defeat the right arm, you'll render it useless and stagger it much easier. So, the interesting thing is that Nero, the final boss of this episode, is not even the hardest boss in hard mode. It's Scarlet. Because Nero is still very easy. Because one of the things you can do with Nero is if you take down his wings, which his wings are a separate target, you'll automatically stagger him if you take down his wings. So you can easily cheese your way through Nero. Scarlet is the true hardest boss of this DLC, excluding the optional stuff. Excluding the optional
Dang,
stuff.
he just nemesis you.
There you go. Here's the actual real boss is the projector.
We've been fighting an illusion this entire time.
Just hit as much as you can.
Yeah, this is it's almost like okay, except for the lack of, apart from the lack of environmental stuff, this kind of reminds me of the Spider-Man Far From Home incarnation of Mysterio. And now you're fighting something that looks very real, except it's not actually really there. You certainly feel it. And yeah, I summoned Carbuncle for a change because I might need some more help.
Why does Carbuncle remind me of Pikachu in this remake?
I don't know.
Carbuncle always had the beady eyes and stuff like that, so it's not like technically the similarity was always there.
I know, but
I forgot if I mentioned, but in this version, they give him such a huge forehead to make room for his ruby. It's usually encapsulated there.
This is a very intelligent incarnation of Carbuncle. Of
course, to be fair, you do need to possess that much of an IQ to cast, reflect on your allies. Like I said, I still prefer the Final Fantasy 15 design. More, it's more based on an actual Fennec Fox and therefore much cuter.
I'm guessing they wanted to have some
not just that, in general, considering again in the original Carbuncle was not present, each game tends to have like a usual different kind of thing design for even the summons, so...
There you go.
Don't worry, I'm almost nearly there. I've almost got it. But the stacking thing is running too fast. can't see.
Say Dwibs, he probably should use a combined attack.
Yeah, he barely uses the synergy. The key to this DLC is synergy.
I mean, I do defeat it eventually. I mean, besides, it's not like we're going to have the synergy in like any sequels to this, are we?
Dwibs, we told you like in the first part, Toriyama did mention in interview that we're using these as like basis for the for part 2 onward.
That's true.
How's it going to work in this story?
I don't really see that much of an issue, like trying different combined attacks between Cloud and the other teammates.
Here's how it works in the story. Yuffie turns to the other guys. Hey guys, I've learned this technique called synergy while I was doing some other things. Want me to teach it to you? And then
not just that, it can easily, it's not even like that to Yuffie. It can easily be just a throwaway line or something like, say, Barret or Tifa mentioning to Cloud, hey Cloud, maybe we should try to, to combine our attacks more often.
I think...
Yeah, I'll buy Square.
I think I like Pedro's idea, though, about Yuffie sort of teaching them synergy. Could be how she also works her way onto the team.
Okay.
That being said, though, yeah, I could see synergy being quite an interesting thing to do with different combinations of team members. Do you think they might maybe expand synergy to work with 3 or 4 member teams in part 2?
Who knows? It does remind me a bit of some of the special attacks in Rogue Galaxy, where you can actually, if you actually manage to unlock it, it does combine the power of 2 different teammates in creative fashion for different effects. And in some cases, it literally, crushes you through the entire game like Supernova.
Considering this game is half turn-based, it also reminds me quite more of the combining attacks of Chrono Trigger.
Maybe they'll do their equivalent to the Showtime attacks from Persona 5 Royal, where a specific combination can do a special attack or whatnot. Oh.
Yeah, this is still not... Again, the entire thing about Nero is that it gives you the sook to your soul.
Yeah, that's the thing though. In terms of what big Final Fantasy thing Square's doing next after this, I don't know whether it's going to be the sequel to this, or the full game of Final Fantasy Origin, or 16.
I'm probably gonna wager Origin since it has a release date of early next year.
Oh my God, we're literally.
Hold on.
We are literally on display as test subjects.
Yeah. It's all a big game, and it's all a big lab rant game for Shinra.
And yet Hojo is nowhere in sight to gasm over
He's
this.
too busy just jacking off towards, Genova's head or something. Yeah, that's another thing of Nero. After it sucks away your soul, it literally uses you as a puppet. I don't even know. Okay, gotta be honest, it's been a long time since I actually played the Servus, so I actually forgot where the Sviet got their powers from. Probably Mako exposition,
Science too.
Of course, it's always that. Scientists are always evil.
Who are you, Mr. Bondage, to lecture us? Seriously though, you look like you came out.
Joke's on you feeling pain is pretty much his fetish.
So again, he literally came out of an S&M playbook novel. Yeah. Okay, Yuffie, you just have to defeat one of the most powerful entities ever in the 7 compilation.
No pressure.
Fortunately, he's not really at his peak yet, so it is fairly doable. Even on hard mode, like again, on hard mode, if you focus on the wings.
There you go. The SS scanning actually does give you some information if you need.
How?
Nothing on weaknesses, though, so I'm gonna have to.
I mean, it is the final boss of the DLC.
I have no weakness.
How humiliating for Nero. First he gets beaten by Yuffie, then he gets beaten by Vincent and Dirge of Cerberus, which means that he got his ass kicked by the 2 optional characters from 7.
It's kind of a tragedy for Nero, because he wants White Senpai to notice him.
Yeah, that's also the other creepy thing about Nero. He's super into his brother. Maybe just a bit too much.
A bit too much. He loves
This
his
is where my
brother.
brother and I come to
Same way that one dude is really into his bike.
pretty much here, right?
Oh,
It's monochrome all over again.
Is this remake compilation just gonna be people being into things they really shouldn't be into?
Yes.
There's bikes
Yes.
and siblings, whatever next.
The original 7 is literally about a long-haired silver man forcing his way into several bodies of people and forcing them
With
to
a
be
very,
clones of
very
him.
long katana.
Yes, which he will impale you and force you to slide up and down.
Again,
Sephiroth
aesthetic.
Sephiroth trying to compensate for something.
Even the Buster so to understand. Oh no.
Alright, that does it.
Oh dear.
You know, you could just go.
Yuffie, that may not be a
no.
wise thing to do. And now his arms are free. Well, one of his robotic arms. Wow! And Yuffie's back got broken, seeing as how
It's actually wings, Joba, as if you notice. Like, they're not
Who'd you
arms.
say voices? Who'd you say voices Nero?
Sean Cheaplock, which is super
Oh, yeah,
hilarious
I
if you played a game like Danganronpa.
Well, I also recognise him in from Persona 5. He plays the nerdy kid who tries to help the fantasy themes on his own website.
You
Oh,
know,
the really creepy kid.
I love how Nero.
Shiro, you'll have to elaborate.
I love how Nero literally does that move in cutscenes to everyone except his main prey.
Let's just say Yuffie and Sonon managed to actually avoid it. They're super agile.
Again, though, it's amazing that Yuffie's back is intact, seeing as how he threw her through solidified wall that is meant to keep that man contained enough
But
to
yeah,
smash
to
it.
also answer Jova and Dwibs from before, you have to remember the aesthetic of the Region 7, which are kept for the most part in this remake, to be honest, in terms of how it looks and everything, are essentially a love letter to the classic, to some point edgy, type of 80s anime, like Ghost in the Shell, you know?
Yeah.
So that was also part of the course.
Not to mention Joba, he wants, like I said, he wants Vice Senpai to notice him, and if the fight ends too quickly, there's nothing to notice.
Maybe
He
Vice
also-
will compliment him on
Nier
a
is
job
also one
well
of
done
those-
quickly and efficiently.
Nero is
Basically-
also one of those people that loves to toy with a prey potentially because they're just too powerful. So just killing
Basically-
randomly, may takes away the fun.
Basically, if you like trying to get your senpai to notice
Shit.
you, and then you finally achieve that massive achievement you've always wanted to do, in the vain hope you'll impress your senpai, but his back was turned the whole time, you didn't see it.
Okay, I actually don't know if the battle music is an actual remix from the one of the original servers, because again, it's been way too long since I actually played it. But even so, it still conveys, if you actually notice how dissonant it is with the DLC so far, it conveys the fact that shit just got real. Like, Yuffie and Sonon are in actual genuine danger now.
And yet, these guys still aren't as dangerous as Sephiroth.
Okay, I will say they're kinda like of an equivalent power level, just a bit less.
Vice is-
Okay. Okay. I'll give you Vice, but Nero, nah. Nero just wants you to think he's that good.
See, the thing about Nier is that he's basically a one-trick pony. He has this immense power, but if you actually manage to either avoid it or not being affected by it, he doesn't have much going for. The prosthetic wings, of course, but it's not much.
Vice, on the other hand, does have stuff to back himself up with.
And in case you're wondering who Vice is voiced by, it's Damon Mills.
Does that name sound familiar?
Let me see. He plays Freezer.
Oh, that's where I've heard him from.
I can see why they got it.
And he's also Keith Dan Stinger in
Choice.
There you go, Dark Knight.
Have to live much longer.
in a series.
I remember him more for
DTV
being
ain't really giving me a whole lot.
There you
of
go.
stuff.
This is the final phase of the fight. Starting now.
I'll be able to tell you what phase I'm on if I can see.
What's funny is that I just played recently a raid in Final Fantasy 14 that kinda like had the same effect. Way too much effect particle on screen.
So, you know, assuming that stuff really is gonna get messed up with the... So assuming that stuff really is gonna get messed up with the time stream continuum, and assuming that the theory that, you know, Genesis might have had something to do with the Sephiroth who's time traveling for this remake, I could totally see Sephiroth actually trying to team up with Vice in this remake.
Alright, I think it's at this point, not sure he did that move.
But yeah, basically, now the enemy is a mode on where it's draining your health, so you better get the enemy sorted out soon.
DPS check, basically.
Yeah. Fortunately, there is a way you can save yourself easily. Instead of targeting Nero's body, target his wings. If you destroy his wings, you'll automatically stagger him, basically rendering him at your mercy. Not there, abyssal wings. If you take down the abyssal wings, it's good, especially if they don't have much HP as you see.
Yep, done it.
There you go. Even said right there, you crippled the abyssal wings.
But I think he likes it more than if I didn't beat him.
Okay,
because
Dwibs.
the wings at this is actually easier than Scarlet on hard mode.
Bonk! You just got freaking dropkicked by Yuffie, my dude.
And just like that is the end of the gameplay of episode intermission.
Pretty much. Oh, I'm sure he's dead.
Nah. He just ran away like a pussy.
But we're both alive, so it's fine.
But hey, there's a way out.
Cool.
Don't want to spoil the moment, but
Yeah, remember we're gonna drop the sector and everything.
Yeah, we don't really want to stay here.
You win. Sheesh.
Yeah. And so everyone is happy.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Remember, Sonon's not in the original game, so
I'm sure he got back just fine.
No, I don't want Melfi to die again.
Don't you see? Yuffie reminds him of his sister. He can't let her die. Yes! Your body is surprisingly enough.
And to be fair, as far as death scene goes, this is pretty gruesome actually for the standard of the game.
Yeah, he's been stabbed by an entity who loves pain.
Not just that, it's not just a matter of being stabbed, you actually get to see blood and everything.
Out of his mouth, ugh.
If you remember, in the vanilla game, they actually could not use that much blood. Even the one of Genova had to be repainted with purple and stuff.
There we go, that explains the blood we saw on the trailer.
I actually forgot there was a scene with the blood.
You were in the original game.
Nero's a sore loser.
I was always going to die. I'm not supposed to be here.
Yes. Don't worry, Sonon. The check is in the mail.
Yuffie, you know I've been stabbed. I'm not gonna make it out of this.
Plot twist. He survives and he'll show up in part 3 of the remake.
Okay, well, give it a second, Jov. I want to mention something, but it will be clear with the cutscene we showcased. Or Yuffie.
How long did she known Sonon before this, actually?
I love how Nero actually let her get away.
Jesus, overkill much?
I just want to make sure that he's dead.
Remember, he's getting off on this, Tio.
Yeah, he is.
Brother, it's time to go, just like in Crisis Core.
She even has a pinwheel in her hair, cute.
Can he eat it though? I mean, he's near death, so. Ah, shit.
But,
yeah, not enough strength.
Melfi's face actually does look a bit like Yuffie's face, so.
Yeah. Maybe they used the same model but tweaked it about a bit.
Yeah, probably.
Don't worry, Melfi. I'll join you in whatever our version of heaven is.
Live stream. Don't forget that's the whole thing.
Yeah, but that's the thing that we didn't see Melfi vanish.
Not everyone does.
Her soul went there. That's just
Yeah, that's the gist in intermythology.
It's interesting seeing the full flashback after he's dead.
This is his final memory before he dies.
Yeah, this is also important for the scene that's like immediately after this, I think. At least the one that involves... yeah, there you go.
What were you doing? There, I want to make triply sure that you're dead.
Apparently you needed to.
Well, I mean, a lot of people criticize villains for not making sure the hero's dead, so...
Yeah, but here's the thing. Nero actually takes away the body of Sonon. People are speculating they will turn Sonon into a Sviet, at least Sonon's corpse into a Sviet of its own.
Why? I guess to
Probably
cause
for
Yuffie some
psychological
drama.
torture when eventually Yuffie will get to fight him again.
To fuck with everybody.
It will give Yuffie a good character.
Personal stake, yeah.
No interviews, please.
Also, you can tell this is another CG cutscene because it's in 30 FPS.
Again, what does that bit have to do with anything?
Oh, well, remember, that's exactly the thing. Yuffie didn't want him to sacrifice himself for that, just because, as
No,
she said...
that last bit she said, I mean, I remember you guys being a bit puzzled by how it was there too.
It was weird, yeah. And there goes the plate.
Yep.
This is just wrong.
Oh, the day started so well, Yuffie.
Wait, hold on, wait, Yuffie, look over there, there's Kate Sip. He's also crying too, apparently.
She's grieving and your first thought is, oh look, a cat?
Look at the pretty cat.
No!
Like, even I have to object to that, Jesus.
Sure. I'll have you know that cat was grieving too in that cutscene.
But this isn't about Kate Sip.
Yeah. Sometime later.
I gotta have something. I'm really
subtitles,
sad right
please?
now.
Oh, it's a bird.
It's the chocobo theme she's humming.
Yay.
And so Yuffie rides off into the desert to be a loner.
Oh my
Actually,
God.
where?
Well, no.
Don't think I can do this alone.
So there you go, that's how she gets...
That's her motivation to search out Cloud and the others.
Yuffie wants you. Join her team, and the sky's the limit.
So what, you're gonna hire the sky to be your comrade? Okay.
And then she'll steal its
Makoto
materia.
Shinkai, she's hiring.
Alright, with that out of the way, let's catch up on our main cast of shortly after these.
Yeah, surprisingly enough,
we
they
see the
actually
credits.
added 2 extra cutscenes, my final cutscenes after the credits, I think, where that serves to expand a bit more the original Vanilla's ending, and I have to say, it's actually a better addition because you will see better in a second. But let's just say that. Remember how I mentioned how in the original Vanilla game it felt very gloomy the way it ended, very somber with themes. Here they trying to end on a more optimistic note and a better hook towards part 2.
Road trip?
Hey, Barry.
Kinda.
Well, yeah,
You'll see.
That's kind of what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, we have to walk.
Calm's still pretty far, though, isn't it?
So yeah, we're heading
Another
toward
full
Calm.
day, give or take.
Look, guys, it's good for exercise.
When my mom says a full day, she means from the time you get up in the morning till the time you go to bed.
Arif, it's not the time to be pedantic.
Arif, it's not the time to be philosophical again. What did we say?
Besides,
which is
Eric,
it
not
for you?
everyone goes to bed at night.
Gotta go with Elmira on that one.
Besides, if anyone should be
That's early.
complaining, I am,
Is
because
it,
I'm the one who
though?
has to lug a giant Buster Sword on his back.
Bet you've
But
had to hoof
the
it from
clown
sunup to
not enough
sundown
even
tons
Barrett
of
has to
times.
carry something really
This is all
heavy on
just
his arm.
same old, right?
That he's pretty
That's
much
right.
been doing for...
But even
You
so,
know what, never mind.
we're all gonna need to
Also, it was your
sacrifice.
choice to carry this sword. You could have left it
Especially
at
you.
home.
carries sentimental meaning for me.
Oh, look at that. Cloud is super concerned about Bear too. It's cute.
That's comforting.
Of course it is.
What am I gonna do with these guys?
Cloud, don't smile too much. You might get a bad habit.
Well, technically he didn't smile, but no.
There was a hint.
But that's exactly the thing too. Like, Cloud should not smile till the end of the story.
Honestly, I think it's fine for him to smile. Like, again, the dude does.
Remember, we're still, despite the events of the finale of the part 1. You know, this is still smug as Cloud with his memory jumbled. So he has a bit of that going on.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I don't know if you saw the behind-the-scenes footage too, but the music track from Adventure when Cloud smiles, which is since the ending. Apparently, when Nobumatsu called it that way because when he read the script and he heard Cloud smiling. Wait, Cloud smiled in this movie?
Okay. Now this bit from now is blocked if you're streaming this from your PS5. So.
Just like that. Cool.
She's teaching Aerith how to signal for a car.
Yeah, the thing is that not many people pass.
No way.
Not many, except someone. Who might be?
Huh?
A guy.
Hey, stop!
Barrett, no.
And Barrett.
Well, it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what you get, Barrett. And for the record, in case you need to know, chocobos in every Final Fantasy game are notorious for stinking a lot.
Well, yeah, they're basically the cavalry of this universe.
And yeah, it's, if I recall correctly, it's Chocobil.
Do apologize, man.
Yep. The owner of the Chocobo farm. Basically, what they did with this is that he's gonna give him a lift towards Calm. So in part 2, when they eventually get to the Chocobo farm, he say, "Oh, I remember picking you up, guys." So my speculation with me and my friend is that part 2 is gonna start. Well, hold on, I'll mention this after this other scene.
Oh, yes.
Well, no, it's not this one. It's the one after this. But yeah, basically, part 2 is probably gonna start with the Nibelheim flashback, kind of being the tutorial and everything, and then the action picks up immediately with Cloud and the others already in the city of Calm.
Where's a roof when you need one?
We're outdoors. There is no roof.
You're just gonna catch pneumonia. It's fine.
My stomach's in.
Least of our problems, honestly.
Hey, don't worry, Eric. If your stomach's in knots, just put a sword through it. Or get rid of the knots.
Anyway, let's just keep on moving. I'd rather not sit out here and let my hair get messed up with the water.
Cloud, your hair is already messed up.
Excuse me?
I love how we gave Red 13 no lines at all.
Okay!
Meanwhile,
here we go!
Zach's little bit unavailable.
If you recall, Zach's alive.
Alternate timeline Zach.
It's been a while, huh?
And he's
he's even reached if you Crisis Core pretty much established, confirmed, cements that Zack had more of a relationship going on with Aerith. So of course she will be the first that he will try to search.
Okay, go with the long time no see line. That one always works.
Yeah. Go that one, Zach. You'll be fine.
I will also say this: the new voice actor for Zack at least seems to be improving with the role. It sounds a bit better than it was in the vanilla.
Oh, you know, for a second.
And something is not right. I don't even know what I don't even know what they're implying with this scene. If these are refugees from Sector 7 or if something worse.
Well, my guess is still this is consequences from what happened to Midgar at the end of the vanilla game.
Possibly.
Aerith?
It could mean...
It could also mean that these alternate timelines, Zack gets the hint of where Aerith has gone and he starts following the party of his own.
And now I can find a new foe. Unfortunately, because of how sucky I am on hard mode, we're not going to be able to face him, unfortunately. But you know when Zack opened the door and he was, after he practiced saying what he was going to say to Aerith?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was gonna be like in Matrix Reloaded when he opens the door and then he says to whoever thinks he's going to be on the other side, "Here's my puss," and then he sees just somebody else. I was going to say that, and then it says, and then on the other side, everyone in Sector 7 is crying.
But yeah,
the implications with Zack do definitely seem to rely that even if Zack is not of the same timeline, and this seems to suggest that he might actually be in a merged timeline with them, something's definitely going to change given the fact that he's alive. That being said...
There's also the fact that, if you remember, the original, at the end of the vanilla game, Zack was still carrying his own version of a comatose Cloud. So what happened to him?
Yeah, I was about to ask, what happened?
He dumped him.
Well, hey, Cloud's heavy. Of course, can you blame him much for dropping him? Besides, Cloud's here right now. He's fine.
Since this part's already long enough, shall we save our final thoughts for the next one, or?
Yeah, might as well.
Might as
well.
well.
Part's short enough, so we'll see you next time for when we sort out the few remaining bits and pieces that I'm able to get in this game. So see you then.
Yeah.
See ya.